In this week's episode of Gundam Reconguista in G, if you thought that big badass robots shooting each other in the face was pretty awesome, wait until you see them clean up trash in space. This week's episode was probably one of the most exciting cleaning up the space debris episodes I think I've ever seen, and in all fairness, I think this was one of the better episodes of Gundam Reconguista in G, because the plot is finally starting to unfold on this one a little bit more. I would have liked a little more characterization from Bellry, especially because he's about to go through something of a rebellious period, of course finding out that his biggest crush was his sister, and the fact that he doesn't want to be told what to do. But really, this week's episode was just all about the action, all the different factions coming together and fighting each other, and eventually having to work together. This episode was also notable because there were some brand new mobile suits that appeared from multiple sides. We saw a brand new Toa-Songan mobile suit, which was piloted by Raraya, which went completely insane, and it's called the Neodu. It's the Neodu? The Neodu? I think it's the Neodu. I'm gonna call it the green one. Raraya pilots the green one, and honestly, it's a pretty simple looking mobile suit, and it's pretty much just there to clean up space debris. It unfortunately gets in a scuffle with the Capital Army, and that includes Lewin Lee, Mask, and of course Barorara the Bunny Girl, and she even has a brand new mobile suit this week, which is awesome. It has multiple arms and beam sabers which you can spin around. I also really like the designs of its legs. It has these like big thrusters on them, which are very similar to what you saw from the Rick Doms from the original Mobile Suit Gundam. But really, before the battle can even get underway, it's completely stopped. They all start picking up the garbage in space and start working together. Basically, they're all in a race to get a lot of new power. But there is some interesting new developments. We get to learn a little bit more about Colonel Kumpa and what he's really been doing. And it was hinted at in this week's episode, or outright said by Bellry, that he was originally from Toa-Songa, and it appears that is the case. He actually went to Earth and basically worked as a double agent. And he had this really weird, crazy plan where they had this nuclear device within the G-Self Gundam, which is clearly breaking the taboo and rules that they have set down in this universe, and is going to bring things back to the darker side of Universal Century, just like their ancestors. And what's also interesting is that Colonel Koopa actually does have a real name. I believe it was Piane Kulata. I don't know what the hell that means, or really what that's related to or anything, but it's basically just to show that he is definitely not really with the Capital Army, and probably has some other ulterior motive in mind. And really, I still can't see where this is going, because every single time they start fighting, just the next scene, they start working together again. Like, it's really weird. Like, there's a scene where Klim Nick is, like, out for Mask's head. He's about to snipe him from afar, and the next scene, they're picking up garbage and putting it into big, oversized space garbage bags. It's a very strange series, to say the least, but it definitely harkens back to the old-school Gundam anime. It certainly has that tone, and of course that makes sense. It's being done by Tomino. Everybody that's been watching that series probably knows that by this point. Still, I'm really anxious to see where this one is going. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Gundam Reconguista in G, the unworthy Rock Pie. That's what this week's episode is all about. The character of Rock Pie, who is just got a hilarious name. His name is Rock. He's hilarious, and he's with the Toa-Songan army. I don't even remember them saying his name before, but his name is just absolutely hilarious. And speaking of unworthy rivals, there's also Ringo, who's not to be affiliated with Ringo of the Beatles. This is a different Ringo. This is the guy who's, like, obsessed with protecting Raraya. And honestly, I think he's a really funny character. He's very chivalrous, and he totally reminds me of Rock Lee from Naruto. And there's that really weird scene where they're getting ready to take off from the Megafauna ship, and he's declaring that he's going to protect Raraya, and then he waves at Ida in this really weird way with his mobile suit, and she waves right back. There's a lot of really weird moments like that in this series, which just shows it has a little bit of room for, you know, some comedy and some funny bits, and I think that's really awesome. Like I said, Ringo's really funny. Just his interactions with Kerbis at the beginning was played for laughs, but really this episode is going to be remembered for when Colonel Kumpa mentioned that there's a big nuclear device inside of the G-Self. That's kind of a big deal and is probably going to have some massive repercussions, but I really can't wait to see where that's going. Otherwise, this was just another interesting episode, which was filled with a lot of ridiculous, quirky dialogue and ridiculous mobile suit battles. It all looked as nice and amazing as it usually does. I still love the art style of the show. It's just a little confusing still, you know, little by little. They just, you know, they spoon feed you the information about the series. They don't give you all the answers outright. And in some ways it works, in some ways it doesn't. But still, this is the type of show that really I still think I can only recommend to, like, old school anime fans or fans of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, because it certainly has that tone, which has kind of been lost in the last, like, 20 years or so of anime. It's kind of hard to describe and even put into words the actual tone and storytelling that they use in these old school Gundam anime, but it's very prevalent here. What I will say is I still hate the intro. I just don't like it. I still think the song is okay, but the imagery just, it bugs me. It really bugs me that such a high caliber show cannot create original imagery for its intro, which is just a great way to get your viewers watching. I mean, Gundam Build Fighters Try just did a second intro opening, and it's awesome. It gets you so excited for the show, but this is not Gundam Build Fighters Try. You cannot compare these two series. They are yin and yang. They are lamb and tuna fish. They do not go together. So this was a good episode. Like I said, it had good production value and some great mystery moments, getting to learn a little bit more about Colonel Kumpa, the nuclear device, some really awesome mobile suit battles, and of course just some new mobile suits in general. This was a really exciting episode for old school Gundam fans, and if you've been following the series and you've been enjoying it, you'll probably dig it. It was a little slow in some parts, and again, I would like a little more characterization from the main characters like Bellry, which we're really not getting that much of. Really, it's just in very, very small doses. But still, I think this was an enjoyable episode overall, despite the fact that it was basically just about picking up trash in space. So, I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. I really don't have much to hate on. It's still just an enjoyable series with a really colorful cast of characters, which are all really different from another and just have great quirky personalities. The mobile suit designs are awesome, and the battles themselves are just as impressive. It's just kind of a confusing story. Simple as that. It's the type of show that really just begs rewatching as soon as you're done with it, so you'll have a better appreciation of the story. And that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to have to rewatch the entire series again, and I'm going to have to start as soon as possible because I want to understand the series a little bit more. I don't want to always have to go to the Gundam Reconguista and G wiki and have to look up terms and things. I want to be able to really follow it when I watch the show. And still, I'm just interested to see where it's going. I wonder how long the series is going to be, because if it's going to be a single season, we're getting kind of close to the actual climax of the end of a season, so I can't wait to see how they're going to ramp it up, especially with all the action and the big developments with a nuclear device. So, good episode right here, 4 out of 5. Check it out, guys. Pretty good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you guys leave, how about telling me what you thought about this week's episode of Gundam Reconguista NG? You can tell me in the comments section below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you have a new favorite mobile suit? What do you think about the whole nuclear device subplot? And what do you want to see from the rest of Gundam Reconguista NG? Remember guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, you can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You guys can also directly donate to us through our PayPal link, or you could use our Amazon bookmark link. Whenever you make a purchase on Amazon, use our exclusive bookmark link forever, because it will actually help support our channel. You won't lose any money, and it'll help us out a lot, and we really appreciate it. But remember, the best way to help us out is to simply watch our videos, like them, share them with your friends, and comment on them, because we want this to be an awesome anime community, and you guys make that possible. So thank you again for watching. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.